The Lowertown Line is made possible by the State Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
Dessa, and welcome to the Lowertown Line, the new Minnesota original music special. We're here today with Trampled by Turtles. And we are joined by a very special guest of their choosing. So, thank you so much for joining us today. We're in Lowertown in downtown St. Paul, and we're so glad to have you. Without further ado, Trampled by Turtles.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming. Late night, midnight on the interstate, and I didn't feel so great until I saw the city. And I was younger and open like a child. And man, it's been a while since I felt that way. More and more I hesitate, 'cause I don't know happy birthday. You didn't want to celebrate, and I was an hour late, and you fell apart. But mostly sober. Sometimes I change my mind. I don't have the time. No, we never do. Love and love and nothing else. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the song, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, quick fact check. Most of you guys are from Duluth. 10 years together.
Almost.
Almost?
April.
Do you have a birthday? Really?
It's actually right after my own, but yeah, we're working on our 10-year anniversary party as we speak. I remember it because I was living in Duluth and I had recently gotten a lot of my gear stolen, like all my electric guitar and amp and.
Like out of a practice space?
No, after a show of the last show of the last rock band I was in before Trampled started, and so I had this really terrible guitar, and we wanted to try an acoustic thing, so we booked a show, and we played it. Well, actually, we played the show, but when I got there, it was the day after my birthday, right? So we showed up, and some people had hidden a guitar in the basement. That was my present. My wife was my girlfriend at the time. She had called like all of my family, like uncles she'd never met before, because we were so broke, you know, at the time, and gathered up enough money for, you know, a pretty nice guitar. And I went downstairs and I had this like huge leap from what I was using at the time.
Right. And most of you guys came from rock backgrounds, which a lot of the press focus on your kind of transition from rock to like an alt-bluegrass. Are there ever like bluegrass total purists who are just like?
Oh, they're everywhere.
Yeah, and what I mean, are they throwing stuff? Or they like get off stage? Or where are you from? Do you care?
No, I think it's more passive aggressive than that. No, I don't care. I mean, we never really wanted to be a traditional bluegrass band, you know. And in that community, not everybody subscribes to this, but there is a certain group that are very old-fashioned, and to them, bluegrass has already existed, and they are, you know, replicating it. And it's not, you know, if anything ventures outside of this kind of strict form, then you'd fine go ahead and do it, but just don't put the name bluegrass on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just the same instrumentation, and people, I just don't agree with rules of music anyway, you know. And when people take something so seriously, then I don't know. No, I don't care.
Do you, like, you know, having maybe taken a rock sensibility but then voicing it on the kind of bluegrass instrumentation, do you ever miss like the rock? Do you ever want to like plug in and smash a mandolin at the end of the show?
Yeah.
It's the secret of the winners, that's why I never got it. come to find the Savior in your eyes. And all my frozen winters face the blame for the garden. At least I couldn't say that I tried. Fall apart at the softest setback or dark. The dampened towers cry above to the highest liars of them all. Partial poems come as painless filler, and I may never be as strong as you'd like, but the way you look at me is such a silent killer. You hold me close and tell me I'm alright. Up all night just thinking of the ways to remain. More the silences that one time held the keys to paradise. That I remember, and those were times that I treasured like a child. To pick this body up because I know I better. Then I fell upon the ground with a sigh. Little bandages add up to a coffin, baby. And I get hopeful every time I see you crack a little smile.
Thank you. Someone who inspires us comes from our hometown of Duluth. We've invited Alan Sparhawk from the band Low to join us. Alan's been an integral part of the Duluth music scene. What else can I say? We're big fans.
Welcome. Thank you so much for being able to join us, Alan.
It's an honor. Thank you very much.
So you guys obviously have a history and a connection that goes back to Duluth. In a nutshell, can you explain how you met or first connected?
I knew a lot of the guys that he was hanging with and different bands that he was in, and I don't know, those guys got going and it caught on in town pretty well, pretty quick. And if there's anything common about what we're doing, perhaps that we can maybe point to is, I don't know, when we started Low, I remember I had sort of been doing the same thing. I'd been playing guitar in a rock band, and we always kind of thought it'd be cool to do something different, but we always knew it was going to be more something that we enjoyed doing and not a lot of people were going to like. You know, something that hasn't been said before, perhaps, or hasn't been said in a certain way. I mean, we've seen all the extremes, and I think now artists are having to find a way to say something interesting within that, and it can be just in forcing yourself to use certain instrumentation or, you know, working within certain means. You know,
I think it's the case that neither of you are trained. Is that true?
Like singing or playing, either one? I have nothing. I guess I played the trumpet in 6th grade. And I did take a piano lesson when I was like 5.
Alan?
Yeah, sort of the same. Yeah, my father was a drummer in some country bands, and a couple of dudes that he played with showed me a couple of things when I was a teenager. And
have you been tempted to, or is it something like to be trained in? I guess in my life, sometimes I've wanted to go and do it, and sometimes I've been reluctant because I'm afraid it'll iron out whatever quirky nonsense is inside me.
Yeah, there's a fear of that. I mean, there's definitely, I think once you run into a musician who's been really far up that road and has spent a lot of time with that, and you realize how much dedication it takes to really be able to apply it as a musician.
Yeah, I agree. But I've never really wanted to be a good musician. You know what I mean? I sometimes enjoy watching people like that, but for me, it's always been songwriting.
If there were 3 primary venues where like your jobs happen, maybe like writing desk, recording studio, stage.
Van.
Oh, van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do
Okay.
things happen?
Writing desk is pretty fancy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually,
Where dashboard.
for most of the years, it's your knees up against the bench in front of you.
You ride in the van, man?
I used to write a lot in the van. I don't think the venue really matters for me. If I just kind of spontaneously sit down, or maybe I'll have an idea for a line, that's when I usually get a song. So it's in the van, it's in a hotel, it's at home, it's in the studio, whatever.
Does it happen to strike most often early in the morning, late at night?
You know, most of my writing is like after midnight, you know. I like to stay up late and work on music, but a lot of our last record were songs started in the morning, which was a whole different experience for me. I feel like it's much less difficult to fight repetition in the morning. Like I found I didn't go places that I always go, which is a struggle, at least that I have after writing songs now for like 14 years. It's hard to find a new word, you know what I mean? Or a new phrase or a new something else to explain.
Yeah.
But I found like right when you wake up, I wouldn't go there right away. It would just be this random stuff that I could get some interesting things out of.
The process and the work that it goes through writing, you feel like you're wringing every last thing out of yourself, or at least by the time you're done, there's a little bit of going, oh man, I'm glad I don't have to write songs now for a while. That's everything. That's everything I could possibly say.
Yeah.
And then sometimes starting to write again, that can be a little bit of a wall to work against, because you have something that you finished and that you followed through with, and that was, at least in your mind, successful. And now you're having to start from the beginning again and working with ideas that are not quite there yet.
Everything in the past seems like it was easy or something.
Yeah, it's
and
easy.
It's
more complete. The new things don't seem as alive yet, and it's difficult. It's difficult until that moment.
Well, now that we've heard all about the kind of working process, do you guys mind playing a tune for us?
We would love to.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, we are too. What song are we gonna play?
This is a Low song. It's called When I Go Deaf. It's from a few years ago, and it's about going deaf and maybe not having as many regrets as you thought.
We just happened to know that one.
When I go deaf, I won't even mind. I'll be alright. Yeah, I'll be just fine. I'll stay out all night, looking at the sky. I'll still have my sight. Yeah, I'll still have my eyes, and we will make love
to speak, and we won't have to lie. I'll stop writing songs, stop stretching our lives. I won't have to think, and it won't have to rhyme. When I go deaf, when I go deaf, when I go deaf, when I go deaf.
Thank you so much for having joined us this evening. My name is Dessa. You've been watching the Lowertown Line. Thank you again to Trampled by Turtles, Alan Sparhawk, Dave Simonett, who sat with me for the interview. Thanks. Let's hear one more tune.
You come into the world alone, and you go out of the world alone. But in between is you and me. Whoa. 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 Whoa.
On is made possible by the State Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.